Hey everyone, I'm here again. I've got a lovely little layout to share with you. Just using this sketch here from the August Sketch Challenge in the Scrapping Good Times Australia Facebook page. So check out the link below if you'd like to join us in, and we join us on that Facebook page. We have some good scrapping times, obviously. So this layout here is using this Jen Hadfield paper pad to use some coordinating papers. Really good way to use things out of your stash is that get them either color coordinated or collection coordinated, and that way it makes it a bit easier. There's not so much decisions to make about what matches and what doesn't match. So I'm just cutting along, trying to work out with the sketch where I want some placement of these colors. Sort of worked it out pretty easily. I just need to make sure all my measurements, which I don't measure, but all my papers are the size I want and the colors and whatnot. So I've just got out this punch from my stash out of the cupboard, and I'm just making it sort of like a curved edge. It does have a little bit of an embossed dot around the curved edges, but you can't see it. I can't see it either. Like, it's not, I don't know, maybe it's on certain papers it works better or something. I'm not too sure, but it's really nice curves, so that's all that matters. And I just end up trying to work out to go on top, to go on bottom. And I figure this pink one is a bit too thick for my liking. And I just cut it down, which is a little bit of a struggle to make sure it's in the right spot as I cut. I don't use this cutter enough to be able to use it really well, so it's one of those things that I just usually cut with scissors, but because you can really see the measurements on this one and the straightness, I figured I'd better use that trimmer. So just realised that that black and white one is too short. I'm cutting again. And I think we get it right this time, hopefully. So this layout's pretty simple. It's something that, you can do when you're starting off scrapbooking, but it also is pretty striking to add to your collection in your album, even if you've done millions of them. So it'd be pretty cool. I can see already the challenges the people have put up, their layouts, and it looks really good, and all the different styles and the different takes. So I've taken a really literal take on this sketch and pretty much copied it, especially the background here. And I'm just struggling to put my doilies under the paper. I don't know. Often I just put things down, but I think because I had the sketch, I was doubting myself a little, so I'm positioning and then moving before I glue. Anyway, found my photos. So these photos are from when we went to Japan as a family on our family honeymoon at the end of 2014, beginning of 15. And I'm just starting to commit, so gluing things down. On goes the doily, and I've got this Teresa Collins tape runner, which has got some Xyron glue and stuff in it, and I've kept in some of this glue in because I end up running out of glue tape, and I wanted to show you how easy it is to change over the tape. I hear lots of people complain about the ATG and how it takes forever to change. These little tape runners on the inside, the refills, are a little bit more expensive, but they are worth it in considering I've just loaded my tape runner is done. Close it up and go again. But also, like, there's heaps of glue on it, and it is extremely sticky. My last layout, the first one I used with this tape runner, I glued buttons down with it, and I've tried to pull them off and I couldn't get them off without a struggle, and it just goes to show how good that tape runner is. So on we go. So I've cut down my photos so that they are pretty similar to the size that was in the layout sketch. And I'm trying to find in my Project Life stash here some journaling, some writing space on just like the sketch, but I want some lines that will go there, something that will match. And in the end, of course, I go in a totally different direction. So this is where I start to add my little touches to the sketch and how I make it my own and my own style. So this is a piece of paper, packaging actually, from some cards that I got, or some embellishments, and I thought the paper was so nice, the card, so I put it in my stash to use, and I thought for sure I was going to use it here. Actually end up changing that, of course. But anyway, I'm gluing down on the cardstock just so I can have them all positioned together and I don't have to fiddle too much. And so stick those two down, they've got their own spot to position themselves, and then I'm using that black strip as a guide for where I want the bottom photo to sit, because I want it to even be equal on that strip of black across there. And cutting it out. Of course, even with the photos there, I don't cut it straight up the top, so I have to fix that up. And I'm just trying to stick it underneath that trim, that piece of, curved paper, just to make sure it fits the way I want it and the way I look. And of course I've glued it down. It's a bit tricky. Watch me struggle, look at that, gosh. Sometimes I leave the weirdest things in for you guys to watch, you poor things. So I've worked it out, and I worked out if I carefully, and I do rip it a little bit, but if I carefully get it up, and then I can glue the photo down and be right. So as you can see, there's white space where the journaling is on the sketch, and I've got that on my layout, that white space, and I end up thinking that's where I'm going to journal, and it is where I am going to journal. Just gluing down the photos in the corners, and here we go. So up to the journal, the embellishment stage, and the title stage. So just some washi on the side here, some more black to tie it in with the colours. I didn't want any pink, I've got pink in the doilies and that runner down the side there in the middle. And I didn't want green because most of it, the background is green. The black really goes well, I feel. And I use another bit of washi. It's always a bonus because I'm sure, like everybody listening, we all have washi stash that is beyond our years of scrapbooking, I'm sure. So I found these Charm Creation stars. They're made out of 3 layers of material, so felt or denim and netting or tulle and all different things I've got in my stash that I got. And this is the first time I've used something on my layout. And I put 2 of them there just to see how I go, and I found these stickers, and they're going to look beautiful. So the word travel is an awesome word to add to these photos, seeing as it's us exploring in Japan on our first day of our honeymoon. I found a chipboard piece that says explore, and I was going to use that arrow but thought it doesn't tie. It just, like, I need that white space. So if I cover it over too much, it's not going to be just not going to be appealing, I guess. And here I go, I'm going to journal. I'm just going to use my ruler and I'm going to write in capitals just to make it look even. And on it goes, and I'm just journaling about first day we got to explore in Japan. We got a tour guide that got to show us around, and part of that was showing us around Ueno Park, which was huge, and there was a million things to look at in that park, and it was one of those rainy kind, well, wasn't, I don't think it rained too much while we were out, but it was one of those cloudy days where it was nice to explore in, and it's not too hot, not too cold. I took some nice photos. Just positioning these stars that came on the sticker sheet, and I thought I was going to use that little sticker brad, and I stick it on, and of course it picks up some of the paper when I peel it off. But I wanted something there because there's a little bit of a space in the journaling, and also I wanted to tie it in with the embellishment cluster that was happening with that big star. So I needed to cover something over when I took it off anyway. So the star, one of the stars will go over there, and I'm just holding my layout up so I can see it from my angle, partly because I didn't want to stand up. So I'm coming to the end of this layout, as you can see, and there'll be some photos and some close-ups afterwards, and come over to the Facebook group and check us all out. Thank you. We'll see you next time. Bye.